Zone.
Greetings, my fellow Fright Fiends. It's your buddy Boogeyman Ben here for another episode of Boogeyman Ben's Horror Zone. And today's video is going to be talking about the Ghostbusters reboot. Now, I went and saw the film today with my wife. Here's my ticket right there. Sporting my Ghostbusters shirt and pin. Now, this Ghostbusters pin I've had since 1985 when the movie was out on VHS. It was something my dad got for me at a video store. And I have been a fan of the Ghostbusters films since I was a kid. I loved the first Ghostbusters film. My dad was a huge fan of Bill Murray from Caddyshack, and I knew Dan Aykroyd from movies like Dr. Detroit, which I can't believe I saw when I was really young, and Trading Places. So I knew him going into this. Was a huge fan of the Ghostbusters cartoon series and Ghostbusters 2, which I think it's a lot of shit. And I've already talked about the Ghostbusters films, the original films, and I did a big review of them last year. But I am a huge fan of those films and that series, and ever since Ghostbusters 2 came out in 1989 when I was 15 years old, I had wanted there to be a Ghostbusters 3 with the original cast. As time went on, of course, we didn't get that. And unfortunately, with Harold Ramis passing 2 years ago, for me, that dream died with him. And I just knew that going forward, there could never be a movie that would capture the magic of the original films for me, because they were seminal films for me growing up as a kid. When I first heard about the reboot and the cast, I thought it was very refreshing that they were going to go a different route and have 4 women playing the Ghostbusters this time around. Plus, you have amazing comedians like Kristen Wiig, Melissa McCarthy, Leslie Jones, and Kate McKinnon, who I am fans of from not only their film work, but also the times that they have been, especially 3 of the actresses have been full-time members of the Saturday Night Live cast, but also just fans of movies that they've all done, like Bridesmaid and The Heat and Top 5. So I was really excited to see this film. The controversy that this film has had, just with a lot of people not being happy with the fact that not only was the franchise being rebooted, but the fact that the main characters were now going to be played by 4 women. I really didn't get involved in that. I really just have been kind of quiet on this outside of a couple things I've posted on Facebook and my Instagram page. I've really stayed out of it because, for me, people have their right to their own opinions. And I'm not saying anyone's opinion is wrong, because everyone has a right to their own. For me personally, I didn't get the backlash that the film was getting. We're not going to get a film like the original Ghostbusters from 1984. We'll never get that film. And all we can do now is hope that the filmmakers would pay respect to those films and continue the legacy of the Ghostbusters in a different format, which is the only way that you can go now that Harold Ramis has passed away. Going into this film, it's tough, because I kind of want to judge it on its own, but it's tough when you go into something that is drawing memories back to your childhood of a film series that you grew up loving. Especially, that there was a cartoon series, and I have a couple of cartoon figures here, and I have the Ghostbusters figures over here, if you can see them. I don't know if they're in the shot, but lots of great memories of this series growing up. And this is going to be an honest review. I'm not going to give away too many spoilers, but I mean, of course, what the movie is about is you have 3 scientists and a subway worker who are trying to prevent this paranormal event from destroying New York City. It follows several of the beats from the original Ghostbusters film, but the thing that I loved about this film is that these 4 characters were not or female versions of the characters from the original film. They all played very different characters. The setup is very different. Of course, there are a couple of beats that are a little bit similar to the original Ghostbusters film, but I was able to sort of put that out of my head after a while and really just sit back and enjoy the film. And I went into this film with just, hoping that it would entertain me, make me laugh, that the ghosts and the action scenes would really would really deliver. And I felt like the film was just really, really well done. I don't get, again, this is my opinion, but I don't get the backlash towards this film. And I think maybe some of it is dying down a little bit now that the film is out. A lot of people were really judging this film based on the trailer, especially the first trailer that premiered earlier this year, which I actually didn't have that huge of a problem with. I didn't think it was the best trailer, but it was kind of nice to see a Ghostbusters trailer. For me, I mean, obviously, I wish that there could have been a third film that maybe handed off the reins to a new group of Ghostbusters, which is what they had talked about doing if they had done a Ghostbusters 3 with the original cast. But, you know, I mean, that's something that I wish could have happened, but it didn't. And I'm willing to accept the fact that these are the new Ghostbusters. These are the ones that will be carrying on the franchise now and have been passed on. I think all of the actresses did a tremendous job of making these characters distinct in their own. I thought the ghost effects in the film were fantastic. There was a lot of special nods to the original film. I also thought Chris Hemsworth was fantastic as Kevin. He just cracked me up in the film, and really, really great job of delivering a lot of really hilarious one-liners and playing off of, comedy heavyweights like Melissa McCarthy and Kristen Wiig. I thought the comedy really worked in the film. There's a lot of parts that are just laugh out loud funny. I think Kate McKinnon and Leslie Jones really stole the film. Both of them were just fantastic in the film. Kristen Wiig was a little bit different for the types of character. I love Kristen Wiig, just 100%. I loved her and everything she's done. I'm a huge fan of hers from Saturday Night Live. And I just thought she played more of the straight role, but she still had comedy bits that are just, perfect, her perfect comic timing. I thought she did a great job. Big fan of Melissa McCarthy, and again, she underplayed it. I think her and Wiig were more the straight people to Leslie Jones and Kate McKinnon's characters, and they just own for me. Kate McKinnon is hilarious. I love her on SNL. I thought the effects were great, and like I said, they paid tribute to a lot of the ghosts and some of the situations from the original film, but it wasn't so much. I mean, I've heard some people say that, the cameos and things like that took them out of the film. For me, it didn't. I thought they worked really well, and it wasn't like they were overdone. I think every cameo in the film worked. There really wasn't anything about this film that dragged for me. I mean, it's tough seeing a film with new people, I think, just because of what I'm used to in terms of, who I knew the Ghostbusters to be growing up and who we've all known them to be for over 30 years now. As a fan of the series, I think I would have been very upset if they had done a reboot and had, 4 new guys playing, Venkman, Stantz, Egon, and Winston Zedmore. I would have really been I would have been upset if that had happened, as opposed to changing it up the way that the filmmakers have done. If there was any negatives about the film that I could think of, there were very small ones. There was one cameo that my wife and I both agreed didn't really work, but it wasn't like a huge thing, and it kind of just happened and then it was over. So it wasn't like anything that was big, but it was just kind of like it didn't really need to be there. And the other thing, I didn't think the villain was as strong as I would have liked. I think there could have been more time to sort of understand what the villain was trying to do. I mean, you understood it, but there wasn't really any real characterization to him of why he was trying to do it. It was just kind of, he was just there and things happened. And that was the only thing. I just thought the villain was kind of weak. But really, the rest of the film I thought was fantastic. I think all 4 actresses did a great job. That a sequel will really help, will really help establish this group as the new Ghostbusters, because now they're not so much, being tied to the original film series. Now they can go off and branch out and do their own thing, and the sequel won't be so tied to, what is the groundwork that has been laid before. This will be their own thing, carrying on this new storyline. I'm really excited to see where they go with this. I will say that if you are going to see the film, stay through the credits. Very fun end credit scene, a lot of little touches, and also something that I think is going to be the focus for the sequel. So if I had to give this movie a rating on my normal scale of ratings, I would give this one 4.5 skulls. I think people should go out and give it a chance. Nothing for me, like I said at the top of the video, nothing is going to replace the original films for me. They are their own thing. They are perfect to me. But I'm willing to have an open mind and see where they can take this franchise with, new characters and new stories. And I'm really excited to see where they go with this franchise. Like I said, this is just my opinion. If anybody else has seen Ghostbusters, please leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I would love to hear what other people think about this film. And as always, thanks so much for watching Boogeyman Ben's Horror Zone, and I'll talk to you guys later. Take it easy. Stay scared.